Hello people, welcome to Mainevent Boxing Talk. I'm your host Nathan. I've got my co-host with me, Eric Saenz, who is a new gentleman in the group, and the always dependable old Tom. Hello Tom.
Hi Nathan, I hope everybody's okay over there.
Yes. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing well, Nathan. Thank you. Appreciate having me here.
No problem, my friend. Well, let's make a start. First on our list is the Anthony Joshua PULEV fight is apparently likely to be held behind closed doors in a much smaller venue. What do you guys think of this?
You want to go first, Eric? Go ahead. You're new. Go for it.
You know, I noticed some of the UFC fights, some of the events were being held with no one in the crowds, and I think that's an interesting dynamic in itself. You know, something, that kind of fight with no one there. I really think that's its own animal. Whereas fighting in front of a big crowd and a big stadium with people there, that's its own deal. Fighting for a major prize where it counts with no one around except you and the other individual, that's its own deal.
Yeah, I would agree that has its own psychological, it's a different psychology when you don't have an audience, you don't have all that noise behind you. In terms of a performance, it's like if you're an actor playing to an empty theater, you have to do the full performance that way. I think sometimes the crowd can energize you when they're behind you, or if you're an underdog or whatnot. But I think what this reflects more on is the business of boxing. I think the top fighters are not hurting for the money, like Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Wilder, but the promoters and the titling organizations are very much hurting at this point, and so are the boxers that are not the big superstars. They have to get back to work, and I think Hearn is probably pushing it for that reason, just to get, he could get some money in the door to keep going. I mean, DAZN, boxing, the sports platform that paid Gennady Golovkin, or is paying him $30 million a fight, they're looking to sell or get backers right now because they don't have any fights. So I can understand why Eddie Hearn, who's promoting this, wants to do that. And really, these guys have to work. They have to fight to stay in shape, or they're staying in shape, but it's no substitute for being in the ring. What do you think, Nathan?
I think it's a funny one. I mean, this fight needs to happen. Joshua needs to defend his title, and even if it is behind closed doors, Joshua has said in articles a week or so ago that he would take a smaller smaller purse for the fight if he had to.
So I think purses are going to go down for a while. I don't think these huge mega million purses are going to be back for a while because of the lack of ticket selling in big stadiums. So everybody's going to have to take a hit.
Put it this way: the days of average boxers getting £300,000 purses are gone. And Dillian Whyte getting $5 million.
$450K a year, yeah.
So instead of someone like Dillian Whyte getting $4 million a fight, he'll be getting probably $1 million or $2 million a fight. It's going to hurt the grassroots level of boxing the most.
Well, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those situations economically. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt for a while. What do you think about that, Eric?
As far as from a financial standpoint,
the finances of it.
I mean, I think from a sporting perspective too. I think the constant delaying of fights, fans don't really pay attention to that. But I'll take it back to the Mayweather-Pacquiao deal. Talking about that fight 1 year and then 4 years later, that's a different fight. Those are different situations. So I'll get to your question, Sonic, but just to touch on, the delaying. These guys have to fight now. Like that has to happen. You can't talk like they're fighting in 2021, 2022. That's going to be the same fight. They'll be in the same place, mentally, physically, emotionally, etc. So I think about that a lot. You guys just mentioned that, but I think you said it all. These guys have to work. I mean, anyone who spent time around fighters, this is what they do. This is who they are. And most people who have made the commitment to fight, and I don't want to categorize guys. But a lot of these guys were made the commitment to fight within their lives. Yeah, there are a lot of ways to make money nowadays on the internet, but this is what they do. It's not like,
Yeah, they don't know anything else. That's right. They grew up fighting. Like Luis Ortiz from Cuba. He's been fighting since he's been a young man.
Right, that brings us on to our next subject.
At the level they're at, it demands all of their time. Time. I mean, if they're going to fight at a high level and perform and want to bring people back to fight them, and they have to put all into it. And with that, what else are they doing? They're not making any money. So, right.
Right, this brings us.
What were you going to say?
This brings us nicely into our next thing. Apparently, Luis Ortiz wants to fight 2 times this year, and he's hoping for August, September return.
Well, I think this echoes what we just said. And Luis Ortiz is what, 41?
Yeah,
41
yeah, he's getting up there.
Yeah, he is, and he was performing very well against Wilder until he got caught. And he was winning that last fight pretty much almost every round, and he's a very dangerous guy. He's in a bad position now because he's the kind of guy that they want to avoid, and he's not a stepping stone fighter. I mean, he is dangerous to anybody. Still at 41, he has that puncher's chance.
If you look at the top 10,
he's strong.
He could beat. I don't think he'd beat Joshua. He wouldn't beat obviously Ortiz or Fury, but he could possibly beat the Povetkins and the Dillian Whites. They'd be very, very close fights. What do you think?
He would be competitive. Have you seen him fight, Eric?
I have, but speaking as someone who is exactly his age, I know, and just watching different athletes through the years at this stage of their career, every week, every month, everything is crucial right now. Like, whatever he has, he can lose in a couple of months. So while I don't have a lot of, I don't know much about Luis Ortiz, but I know he's 41 years old. And it could be a lose-lose for the other guy, like you said. He's not a stepping stone. So, I think you guys understand what I mean.
You should have a look at Ortiz.
I understand what you mean. I mean, how many 41-year-old football players do we have?
Look at Tom Brady. The reason Tom Brady just got traded, Bill Belichick just sent him back. He might be great. He might be the greatest, but you're 41, sir. There's only so much you can do. And the way I spoke about, you see it. Fighter at 32 is not the same as 34. Well, that deceleration, if you will, speeds up. Every other, you slow down a lot faster at this age. I've noticed it within myself, to be honest with you.
Well, it's true. I mean, Foreman wasn't the same when he came back, but he found a way to win, even though he was not on the same level that he was in terms of his conditioning. But he readjusted himself and was able to win another title.
That was
I don't know.
That was an awesome example of how cerebral he was, if you ask me. You look at George Foreman, second generation. Throwing punches that we've seen in the 90s when I was a kid. And it was a different guy. There was a different plan, it was a different approach. And like you said, he won.
Yeah. Well, I wish, Nathan, with Ortiz, I think you make a good point that he's kind of like in the middle right now, in the middle of the division, in terms of a ranking, right?
But the problem with Ortiz is that time has passed him by. It's like his time has been and gone almost. If he doesn't get. Yeah,
he lost time because of the steroids too.
But he's only got himself to blame for these situations. He's the one that pushed the ban. He's the one that did all of it. It wasn't anybody else.
Well, hopefully he doesn't get popped for that again, or else his career is over.
He'll probably have a couple of. He could probably be, like I say, as a top 10 fighter. I don't think he'll ever win a world title. I think that time has been and gone.
Well, I like to see him back in action, and he's competitive, and he's fun to watch, and he doesn't really know anything else to do.
Oh, but he's a
I'm
choice.
Sure he could use the money at this stage of the game. He's looking for a few more paydays.
Right, let's move on. Jose Ramirez definitely wants to fight Crawford when he moves it to 147. Great fight.
What did you say? Then
Jose Ramirez definitely wants to fight Crawford when he moves it to 147.
I would say be careful what you wish for in this case, because Ramirez, he's strong, but he's not. He punches wide, and he does well with guys that he can pin against the ropes, but him fighting Crawford, first of all, Crawford's a much better boxer, all around as a southpaw, conventional stance. This guy is more one-dimensional. And I think that he's looking for a payday, and it's probably be an exciting fight, but he's going to lose. What do you think?
What do you think, Eric?
I'm not going to kill this guy. I know about Terence Crawford, but I don't know much about him.
I think Crawford is a level above this guy. No matter what Ramirez does, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. Great fighter. Yeah,
Ramirez is strong, though. I mean, he punches well, but he's wide. And Crawford will just come straight down the middle and switch up on him and just tag him. He is outgrowing 140. I was watching some tape on Ramirez that I had seen before, and he is open to getting hit, but he is very strong and well conditioned.
I mean,
It just seems like, are they both part of Top Rank?
I believe so.
Top
Yeah.
Rank, aren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense for this fight to happen.
But Ramirez, I mean, he beat a chinny Maurice Hooker, who I've never really rated anyway.
Well, yeah, but Maurice Hooker put up a good fight against him.
He just doesn't have the fundamentals to be a top level boxer.
Yeah, right. I watched that fight earlier today, and for the second time. Yeah, you're right. But Maurice Hooker looks smaller than him. That's why I'm saying that Ramirez should move up to 147. You probably can't carry the weight.
This is
So,
the problem.
Eric,
Yes, sir.
have guys ever tried to cut weight in training for football? What do they do?
That's not really a thing. But where I coached last year at East Stroudsburg University, I was right next door to the wrestling room. And, so I watched those guys go through that a lot. And I would say recently, over the last 10, 15 years, if you will, that's kind of gone away. Like, athletes and fighters and wrestlers and MMA fighters, they're realizing that they're not where they want to be on fight night. They're trained. Whereas in the past, that was common culture, and that's just what you did. And guys didn't think anything of it. Nowadays, from a wrestling perspective, in college, they test your urine to ensure that you're cutting weight properly. So as these days, if you ask me, I know later on we're going to talk about Devin Haney, and his weight, but it's I think if you're pushing it and you're overdoing it, it hurts you rather than helps you. I understand. I mean, I've been in there with guys, and I've sparred with guys who, because they're lighter than me, I can take anything they throw at me. I get that part, no doubt. I get that part. That weight is something, but my other thing is performance is everything. So if you have to be very sensitive with that. And these days, these young athletes, I don't think weight cutting is like it used to be. Where in the old school, that's what those guys did. They were hardcore.
Right. I don't think they test the urine like that in boxing. Do they? MMA?
I don't. Again, we're talking about the NCAA and 18 to 22-year-old kids. So that's. I bet you they don't in boxing. We all know about boxing how it's governed. So I know they don't. But it's just from a training standpoint, from an athlete developmental standpoint, if people would realize that, you know what, you think you're helping yourself by going against someone smaller and lessening your weight, but you're not performing the way you would if you were healthy and fresh. And the name of the game these days is be fresh. I mean, they encourage people to sleep, whereas years ago they had us up all doing all this. That's done. Now it's about being fresh, recovered, and healthy.
Okay, makes sense.
Let's.
Nathan, sounds like there's a ghost in your room.
No. It was the washing machine. Right, guys, let's move on to something which I found quite hilarious. Mike Tyson has been offered $1.1 million for a Peter McNeely rematch.
Oh, my God.
Joke.
Well, he destroyed him the first time, didn't he?
In 1 round, 30 seconds.
McNeely?
I mean,
Do you remember that fight? Al?
well, I ordered it on pay-per-view. I can tell you where I was, who I watched it with. I was 15 years old.
Tell us about it.
Summer 1995. And the funny part about it is, I just happened to turn it on a couple of weeks ago, and if you would have told me that they grabbed Peter McNeely out of the crowd and threw him with their boxing gloves and told him to get in the ring, I would have believed you. You know? That was 25 years ago, and he looked like he boxed as, as much as the next guy. So here we are 25 years later. What will that guy look like in the boxing ring? I don't want to know. Oh,
he wasn't,
I know he looked like in 1995. I don't want to know what he looks like in 2020.
I've seen some pictures of him. He doesn't look in bad shape, to be fair.
Really? Okay.
He's in good shape.
I'm going to pull up a picture of him right now. But, I mean, there's a lot of people that see the money potential former fighters by fighting Mike, and because of the legend status, even Vander Holyfield. And there seems to be some buzz about that.
And I think we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. I want a couple of things I want to add with that. But, to bring it back to what I mentioned about the lights being on, I think a lot of, when we nearly fought Tyson, if you look at a lot of what had him looking so sporadic was he was fighting Mike Tyson, the lights were on. So, that's its own deal. You get, the lights and then the cameras and the flash.
Problem with this comeback.
Well, that's
the problem with this comeback is everybody's so blinded about this comeback. They think, it's 1986 all over again. It's like, well, these people need a reality check. He lost his last fight to a big fat Irish guy, and that was it. There was no, you can't wipe away 15 years. It's like people live in a different world. I don't get it.
This, of all the topics we bring up, this is something this is what I really wanted to talk about. I tell people all the time, because a lot of my young players, they ask me about Mike Tyson, and people always ask me, what do you think about Mike? I tell people, for what that man did from 1985 to 1988, had the world thinking that in 2000, they thought that he could still do it. Like they don't realize 1985 to 1988 is
17 years.
Still think that Mike Tyson is that guy. Whereas in 1996, Evander Holyfield put a beating on him like we've never seen.
Because
I was sitting in a barbershop in 2002, and everyone was talking about, Lennox Lewis is going to kill us, and I was telling people, guys, it's been 6 years since Evander Holyfield beat him up, and Lennox Lewis just beat Evander Holyfield up. You understand? So, point being, here we are 18 years later after the fact. So,
can we just be honest?
I can go over this guy, but you guys have heard of Terrell Owens, I'm sure. He's a former football player. He's retired, and a couple of years ago, he was out running routes, catching passes, and he wanted to make the comeback. And other guys told him, they said, Terrell, it's one thing when you're out there running routes and catching passes with no one out there. My point being, everyone's seeing Mike Tyson hit mitts on the internet and it's circulating. Yeah. He's throwing mitts. Oh my God, he's back. He's hitting mitts. I can send you a video of me hitting mitts. You think I'd have however many fights under my belt? I don't have more.
But what takes the mickey is people, when it comes to him, they think, it's like the same as Muhammad Ali. It'd be the same if Muhammad Ali came. People are expecting, do you know what I mean? People are expecting too much. He's a 53-year-old man whose prime had been and gone when he lost to Buster Douglas. That's just the way it is. 88
is when it shut down. For 2 years, Bruno exposed. It was 1990s when it was over. And I think that's what it's a testament to how awesome he was, to where what he made me feel for 3 years, to this day, people still, they're like little kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't dreaming that it could still happen, because how he made them feel that many years ago.
I would rather remember.
Well, the interesting thing.
Carry on.
Go ahead.
I'd rather remember the Mike Tyson that beat Frank Bruno in 1995 and the one that beat Larry Holmes. That's how I would remember it. I don't want, any more to see him in the ring again. He doesn't need to be in the ring anymore.
Yep. It's that simple. And the same way, 2 years ago or whatever it was, Chuck Liddell fought Tito Ortiz in a in UFC, like, you know, two older guys. I like what Dana White said. Dana White said, you know, where are these guys' friends that prevented, you know, where are Mike Tyson's friends right now? You know, they're saying, hey, Mike, man, we get it, but no, we can't let you do this. But maybe, like Mike said, he had never had a friend in his life, you know,
If he is going to come back, the only person that could make Tyson...
I mean, you guys know as well as I do. You have to protect fighters from themselves. That's the age-old story. You know that.
But the only
protect fighters from themselves.
The only person that could mastermind a comeback for Mike Tyson and make sure he gets the money he deserves is Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn could set it up, put it on an Anthony Joshua undercard fight, him against Holyfield, and promote it and make Tyson shitloads of money. Then he never has to work again in his life. He doesn't have to do all this radio stuff, all this nonsense that he's been doing. You know.
You know, Nathan. The main thing is that he's happy. You know, he's not freaking out. You know, exercise, you know, like going into agreement with his demons. I mean, this guy, when you look at him at 20 years old, when he won the title against the Jamaican boxer who was holding it at the time, that guy, that was a grown, badass man that he beat, you know, and he's only 5'10". He's shorter than I am. Yeah. When you saw him against Tony Tucker and Mitch Green, those guys were 6'5", 6'6". He, you know, how did he beat these guys? I mean, he was out jabbing them. He was slipping their jab, coming underneath, and coming up and out jabbing these people. It was amazing to watch him. But once he married Robin Givens, he started going on the decline. He wasn't, and when Don King took over, he wasn't training anymore. Nobody was telling him the truth. That his decline started then. He just stopped training. He didn't have Kevin Rooney as a reality check.
You know, I always pride myself on being a Mike Tyson historian. I grew up watching him. I coach my football players, and I use his life, his career for lessons. But point being, I hate when I hear people. I don't count Mike Tyson versus Holyfield. I don't see those anything after he left Kevin Rooney. I don't credit. And I understand where Teddy Alley says that he wasn't a great fighter. He's 0-5 because when things got tough, he always folded.
That's not true. I don't believe that.
That's not. Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more, Tom. That's Teddy Atlas. I don't agree with that. But my point is, Mike Tyson was a systematic fighter. He was a systematic fighter who was introduced to the Kung Fu system at 13 years old, and he mastered it.
Yes.
Mastered it. He took that thing and he ingrained it into his mouth. I coach defensive line. Like anything close quarters, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, anything close quarters, you have to get muscle memories of everything. And that guy took the system and ingrained it into himself. Sun up, sun down, he became the epitome of the peekaboo system. And what did he do? Got away from it. I don't like anything after he got away from Kevin Rooney. I don't. If you look at his back in some of those fights in 85, 86, 87, you look at his back against Buster Douglas, that's a different guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I don't, you know, and to coaching me, I don't view athletes like fans do. Like, I need to know what that guy was up to before he fought that night. You know,
well, it's documented. He was drinking and partying with Japanese women.
I can remember being 10 years old and they were talking about that right before the fight, walking into the fight with my dad, in the living room with my dad. And they were talking about how he was partying and hanging out. And, you know, it's anything after Kevin Rooney. He's a systematic fighter. A lot of football players like that.
My father, when he saw Mike come into the ring for that fight against Douglas, looked at him and said, "There's something wrong with him." Wow. And, you know, my father used to train, and he was also a professional fighter. And he looked at him and goes, "Something's wrong with him. Something's not right." Now, this is before the fight started. Just look at him standing in the ring. Wow. And you could see it. He was hungover.
I mean, here's one of to show you the student that Mike Tyson was. One of the more awesome things he's ever said in my opinion. After the Trevor Burby fight where he won it 86, the big Jamaican guy, you know what he said?
Yeah.
He said, "Man, people think that was something. I did terrible. I needed Cuss to rip me after that fight. I know how bad I did." He goes, "I knew I could beat that guy just going in there and doing what I did. But if Cuss would have sat with me after that fight, he would have shredded me." because I didn't go in there and execute like he taught me how to. Like, that's Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? That's to me. That's Mike.
So,
Student.
So the enigma of Mike Tyson is that he's an enigma who will live on. He's in the same way Muhammad Ali is. I mean, I still watch old knockouts of his. You know, that he was my Muhammad Ali that I never had. Do you know what I mean? So that was mine and yours, Muhammad Ali, that we never had. You had Ali. Me and Eric didn't have that.
Yep, right. That was my Tyson's my childhood.
Right.
Shall we talk about my favorite fighter?
We need to move on now to. Oh, this man makes me angry. Adrian Broner is angry. Oh, dear, not getting 10 million. He now says he's a full-time rapper. This guy's got to be the biggest waste of talent I've ever seen in a box. It disappoints me.
You know, are you familiar with Adrian? Eric?
Yeah, I'm the last 4 or 5 fights, I know his personality. I've watched him fight, and I'll let you guys talk about all that my time.
He's a man.
There's no place for him to go, man. You know,
his last 4 out of 5
going?
fights. Yeah, his last 4 out of 5 fights. I don't think the guys won, right? If I'm not mistaken, I watched him, but he was hot a few years ago, but it seems like he's kind of fizzled out. But his personality and his outrageousness, if you will, that's what kind of keeps him in the headlines, you know.
Right. When he came through.
My point is, I'm going to bring this up one more time, and then Nathan, I want you to take it.
Okay.
In these last 4 or 5 fights, I think maybe he won 1. I don't remember who he fought, but he fought top guys. But he never got knocked out. He never got hurt. You know, he's such a skilled boxer. He was able to survive and at some points come back and start winning rounds. He's just become very defensive minded as he's gone up in weight. He's at the wrong weight. I stood next to this guy one day. He's tiny. He's a small man. He's not a big man. And he had no business being at 147 or even 140. 135 was about where he was the best. But he moved up to make money so he could fight up there, you know, in the hot division of the 147s where Floyd was. But now he's got no place to go. He can't get $10 million, you know. Right now, he'll just become a gatekeeper. That's my opinion. But he is a very, very skilled boxer. Go ahead, take it.
When I first saw him against Rodriguez in 2011, the first fight I ever saw him was when he won the 135 title. When I see him and what he was, and I know how good he was, at the lower weights, like you say, he was more effective. Then he went up to lightweight, won a world title there. Then he went, as soon as he went and fought Maidana, his career was more or less over. As a serious contender when he went up to 147.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been at 147.
And then
he's just too small.
Then he went up to 140, went down to 140 to fight Khabib, but he went straight from 135 to straight up to 147. That's not right. He went straight from 140.
What do you think about his focus as a whole? Like there's always something with him, if I'm not mistaken. He's always saying something outlandish. He's talking about being a rapper now. Like, do you think his lack of focus maybe gets the best of him? Is that something with him?
Yeah, I just don't think.
I don't think so. Not in the ring, because he always shows up. Well, for the he's always shown up in shape.
When I say, I mean in his lifestyle. Like we know certain, like Mayweather, that guy is more focused individual. I mean his lifestyle is professional. This is personality, his antics get in the way of his talent, like Nathan.
I think he's his own worst enemy, if that's what you mean. He's his own worst enemy, if that's what you mean. Yeah. And like Mike Tyson was. I mean, when I first saw Mike, I thought to myself, the only guy that's going to beat this guy is him.
Right here.
You know? Yeah, and that's what happened. And with Adrian, he's just, you know, he's got all this talent. But also he's done so many stupid things, getting involved with the law, just doing stupid things, you know, instead of using his smarts, you know, instead of blowing money and blowing money on lawsuits and, you know, hitting people when he shouldn't be hitting them, you know, outside of the ring. These different things, he doesn't handle the pressure well. You got to have a special mindset to be able to handle this pressure outside of the ring. Some fighters don't have it. You know?
Yeah. Some athletes don't have it. The great ones have that. That ties in.
Years ago, I used to have so much
Countless
respect for
coaches
him.
in different sports. They'll talk about the great ones. They weren't necessarily the most physically talented. They didn't have the most game and sparring, but as a whole, they can man like Floyd. You know, Floyd does a tremendous job of staying focused and managing. Or BRONER.
Rocky Marciano too. It was like,
There you go. Bernard Hopkins, right?
The guy, I mean, I used to have so much respect for him.
Nathan,
Yeah.
come back.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
have so much respect for him. I hear
But
you.
but my respect and the credibility that I had
Nathan?
was, yeah. Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. One of
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
I don't feel any credibility he had in my mind is gone. Long gone. He used to be one of my favourite fighters, and I saw a side to him I didn't like. And I realised this guy is a joke. You know, that's just how I feel about him. And he's only got himself to blame. Right, we'll move on because I'm going to get angry.
Exactly. I think we're going to talk about WHYTE now, the WBC.
Your favourite organisation, yeah.
I love the WBC.
Oh, can't stand it.
You know, I have friends there.
Oh, good for you. I hate the WBC. Right, basically, I always give him stick for this. He must be on the WBC payroll. Right, White wants the WBC to force him to fight Fury in 2020. But obviously this fight won't happen. What do you think then, you guys?
Yeah, Tommy, I'll listen.
Okay, well, he was offered to fight Ortiz and he turned it down, and that kind of put him in a bad position. I mean, if he would have fought him and lost, he would be worse off than he is now. But if he would have fought him and won, I think he would have definitely got a title shot. And this is the thing that I keep saying over and over again. These guys, when they get the opportunity to fight each other in a high-profile fight, top contenders, they should do it. Because people want to see great fights. They don't care about the titles that much anymore. They want to see great fights. And if you're active, if you're in front of the people and you win the people over, you're going to make more money and you're going to get the shot at the title, just like Tyson Fury did, even though he drew the first time with Wilder. He wasn't going in there with the title. Yeah, he was the lineal champion, but he came off the canvas and did a great performance, and look what it did for his career. And he never ducked anybody. So far, he hasn't been ducking anybody, and I don't think he would. So that's what people want to see. As far as all of this positioning with the WBC and what Mauricio is going to do, you know, being he's going to be the number one contender or the mandatory or all of this other thing, whatever they're doing. The point is, if he was out there, if he would have went out there and defeated Ortiz, he would have been in a better position. But why didn't he take that fight? Because he was worried about losing.
Because Ortiz is too dangerous, and he's worked himself into a pay-per-view position and mandatory spot, and he's got that WBC interim belt.
Who's paying to see him?
People, fans in Britain, he's got a big following in Britain. They're the people that like people in Britain, like people like me, the ones paying to see him and paying his pay-per-views.
Look, I'm not putting the guy down. I think he's an excellent fighter. He's a very dangerous fighter. But you got to fight, you know, and you got to look good when you fight. You know, he didn't look good, you know, really good in this last couple
Whoa,
of
you're being well
fights.
unfair. He came off 6 months layoff because of a supposed drug ban thing. And he was in awful shape, you know, so what were you expecting? You know, so I think that's a bit unfair, what you said there.
Well, I think you're right there. I forgot about that. He was sidelined because of the drug allegations. But you know what? When he goes out there and he performs at the top of his game, he's exciting to watch. So I think a good match for him right now would be the former champion, the Mexican Ruiz. Him and Ruiz would be a great match, and people would buy that.
It would be a fantastic match, but again, it's too dangerous. But I'd love to see it. But then there's also the Joseph Parker rematch, which I think would be a better match second time round.
Well, you know, he's not going to get the money and the notoriety and the title if he keeps, you know, fighting with guys that are below him. You know? So what are you going to do?
Parker's not that much below. There's hardly anything between them. when I watched that fight. But that's my opinion.
Well, that was a close fight. That could have went either way. So, you know, if he was tearing through the division and having dramatic knockouts like Mike Tyson used to, that was one of the things Cuss used to ingrain in him. You just don't knock somebody out. It has to be a dramatic, spectacular knockout.
It does, I agree. But Deontay Wilder is that person.
And that's
White's a very European-style heavyweight, and you know, the way he fights everything. He's European style. He's not American style or an offensive fight. You know, he's a more defensive counter-puncher. That's the way he's always been.
Right. I like him. I think he would serve himself better if he would just get in the ring and do what he does best, get in top condition and go out there and do what he does.
Eric, have you ever seen...
sitting around too much and fighting guys that are not as good as
Eric, have you ever seen Dillian Whyte fight?
In great shape, but you're right about the drug thing. I agree with you.
Eric,
I'm frustrated when I talk about Whyte because I think he could go out there and do it.
Eric, have you ever seen Dillian Whyte fight before?
No, I have not. But
if you ever get the chance,
answer me this. You know, every era has certain top guys who kind of set the tone and how everyone follows. You know, you're saying he's being wishy-washy with who he fights and how he goes about picking his opponents. Do you think that comes from maybe Floyd setting the tempo with that? Floyd was very, and he was smart about it, but you notice that he was always criticized to where he didn't just jump in there and fight people.
But he knew what he was doing. He did it calculated. He said, "Oh, this guy slipped a bit."
Exactly, but the same way, you know, that's exactly, you know, I couldn't agree with you more. But do these young kids or these guys coming after him, they're attempting to do that. They're just not calculating. Do you think they're following his approach, his format? I guess is what I'm asking. Yeah, pretty much. The Floyd Mayweather route, right? We'll fight this person because they're a couple of years past that person's on the slide. It's all calculated. If you look at Dillian Whyte's career, his career has been, since he lost to Joshua, his career and the way people he's fighting has been very calculated. He's fought people who've got rankings, people who are not so good, people who've got, you know, who are on the slide. But he has got better. To be fair to him, he's worked at his craft and he's developed into a very good, you know, dangerous heavyweight. Okay, I got you. I think that's it. I think the same way a lot of young basketball players, they follow what LeBron does, even if it doesn't fit them well. You know, I think that's with every sport. You know, I hear that all the time with different coaches. You know, this kid wants to be this, he wants to be that guy, but it just doesn't fit him. But I can't convince him of that. Well, I would think that a lot of fighters are very, you know, they're going the Floyd route. Floyd was the first of his kind where how long did he hold off Manny? Oh, no one did that. About 8 years. About 8 years. He managed to keep him. Yeah, he changed the game with that. That's kind of why I brought up what I did before about, you know, a fight in 2010 is not necessarily the same fight in 2015. Can I be honest? I grew up hearing my father hit me in the head with nonstop Muhammad Ali. Those 3 years that he was not fighting, and then I look at him fight, started listening, and I see him fight, and it's like, wow, that's a different human being. When he came back, he wasn't the same again. He'd aged like very quickly because that 3 years off destroyed his career, shortened his career. Exactly. So that's why these young kids take the Floyd Mayweather approach. You know, we have to keep that in the back of their head. And they're like, you know, you can't. You know, the candle's always burning. That brings us on nicely to our next person, who I think is going to be a great heavyweight, not heavyweight, a great fighter. Shakur Stevenson has had a different change of opponent. His new opponent is Felix Caraballo, and this guy comes from Puerto Rico and he's ranked 95 in the world.
Well, I've watched tape on Caraballo, and Shakur should handle him very easily. Caraballo is wide with his punches and he's slow. It's just a difference in class. You know what I'm saying? Shakur should be victorious in this without a problem.
But Shakur, to be honest, is being manoeuvred very well as well to get a world title. You know, he's talented, but he's been manoeuvred very well.
Well, he's young. You know, he doesn't have a big record yet. But I mean, let's face it, he's only had 13 fights with 7 KOs.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're matching him with a guy that's had 16 fights and lost 1 and 2 draws.
But he's emerging.
So, I mean, in terms of the amount of fights, they're close, but not in talent.
He's an emerging talent who will be good as the years go on, but it can take him 3 or 4 years to get to where he wants to be. No, in another year or two, he'll be moving up in another division.
Well, I'm sure Eric has seen this with young football players. You've coached guys that went on to college and the NFL, haven't you, Eric?
Sure, yes I have.
Yeah, so when you get a really talented guy, I mean, how do you treat him coming up when you know he's going up against, you know, seasoned guys that are strong and good? How do you coach him?
You know, I think I thought my own time. I think let's go back to Mike Tyson. He was very specific and they were very careful with who they put Mike Tyson in there with. You know, like you don't put freshmen up against seniors right away. No matter how talented and promising that freshman may look, you don't do that. You know, so I think it's that much more sensitive in fighting. You know, you don't rush someone in there. You can't. You lose 2 or 3 times in boxing, it's over. From a psychological standpoint, forget about from a fan standpoint. You know.
I think that's more true nowadays than it was back in the day when my father fought, you know, and his friends fought. I mean, they had some of these guys, these top guys, they had several losses, but they still boxed.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't stop them from continuing and becoming champions. I think because of the marketing now, it's like that.
And that's a hammer. That's a hammer the youth too much because old people tend to do that. But these kids are not as psychologically tough as they once were. You know, they just. I work with them every day. They're not. You know, you have to coach them through these tough times. Whereas once upon a time, you expected to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. Like these kids are not like that.
Different generation.
Yeah, and so. Along with society, they want to see winners. 3 losses, 4 losses.
Yeah.
People turn away from that boxing. Once they start seeing that 2 or 3 or 4, it's like, all right, next.
But
I got you. Yeah.
in boxing, it's like Tevin Farmer is the epitome of lose, win your title and get better. He had 4 or 5 losses in his first 14 fights. You know, he had a lot of losses. But he came
What was
back.
his name? I'm sorry.
Tevin Farmer.
Tevin Farmer.
Okay, I got you.
I think it also matters how you lose. That too, you know. I mean, look at Pacquiao. Pacquiao has been knocked out, I think, once before he was knocked out, you know, against
Bernard Hopkins.
Marquez here.
Bernard
Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Earlier in his career. It depends on how you lose and how you come back. If you could put a good winning streak back together, you know, that's impressive. So it depends on the individual. I think you're right. It's the mental toughness aspect of it.
So look at Bernard Hopkins. He lost his first 2 fights. You know, look what he went on to achieve. So, right.
So Nathan, what do you think of this thing of Porter trying to call out Spence now? I mean, do you think it's opportunistic? I'm changing the subject to the next thing. Do you think that it's opportunistic of him being that he's coming off that injury?
Yeah, I think he needs to just build himself up again, get a couple of wins, then come back and take the fight. He's not ready for it.
You know Sean Porter. Have you seen him fight?
I saw the first fight.
Yeah.
I kind of, with the way it went, I thought early on, the first couple of rounds, I thought they both struggled with the balance and finding a good range within themselves. As the fight went on, I thought, Porter really closed the distance. So with how he grew through the fight, I could see him, and this is just me thinking from a competitive standpoint, because I'm not sure what he's going through away from the ring, but I could see him feeling that way with how the fight progressed. You know what I mean? Like early on, the range wasn't there. They were both kind of sloppy with it. Footing was poor. But come 6th, 7th round, Porter, he was landing some good shots from the inside, if I'm not mistaken. It's more of an in type fight. So I can see him. If you know how that goes. If you through a fight, if you grow through a fight and you gain comfort and you pick up new things and you see certain things, why wouldn't you think that? You know what? Let me get this guy one more time.
I think I would agree with that because look what Tyson Fury did after his performance the first time around.
Look at Duran with Leonard. You could probably bring up more examples. Yeah, I can.
Well, you learn.
That's everything.
You learn the other fighter. What do you think, Nathan?
I think it is. God, let me have a look. Jesus. I think, yeah.
You think he would do better the second time?
No, I don't think he would at all. I think this time he'd get beat more convincingly.
And that is the other side. I like Errol Spence a lot. I like that kid. I thought it was different ways. What he did to Mikey Garcia was just a different. I'm never a big Mikey Garcia guy. I think he's okay, but when Errol Spence did to him, I was really impressed. That was the first time I really sat down and watched him. And so he is fighting Errol Spence. So
Errol Spence.
I hear that too.
That was the first time.
That's also Errol Spence having a second shot at him.
Yeah, but when Errol Spence, right, in the first fight, when Errol Spence fought Garcia, that was the first time I'd seen him actually box a fight to a win, not knock someone out. Because before he was bombing people out, but now have you noticed he's more of a boxer now? He's using his boxing ability a lot more.
Where he was feinting with that jab and covering, oh man, like I use that now when I mess around and spawn. When he was leaning in and feinting and covering his leg with his, I was so impressed. I love what he did to Garcia. I was so impressed.
But we have to remember Garcia is a 1-3-5 fighter, not a 1-4-7 fighter. Again, it was a mismatch because of the size difference.
Yeah. And it just made me, I like, something very stiff about Garcia, in my opinion. I like the Lomachenko's.
Garcia
another conversation.
Is good at 1-3-5, 1-4-2 is a stretch for him. 1-4-7, he's got no business being in. Too small.
Yeah, it was. I definitely saw that.
But I think for me, Porter, great fighter, but again, he's more of a gatekeeper now. I think I think he's more of that level, like he's on the slide a little bit, personally. He's had a few
his
losses.
Style of fighting is very physical too, and he got knocked down in that fight too. He got caught by a left hook, I think, and was dropped, wasn't he? In that fight?
But Porter,
he was.
Porter is an overachiever. He's doing things.
He did come on very strong, and it was. But I thought that Spence finished him out.
But
and that
Porter
knockdown certainly did help.
But Porter is.
I was surprised that he fought as well as he did.
But
I
for
think
me,
he improved as a boxer.
I've always seen Porter as a guy.
He walked away confident. I can understand that, right, Tommy?
Yeah.
He's
definitely
boxing better than what his ability is. He's achieving more than what someone of his ability should, in my opinion. Sean Porter. I've always felt that about him. He's overachieving. Would you agree with that? Yeah. Derek Chisora could make his debut in mixed martial arts in the Bellator.
Well, that's money right there. That's all about money. Because if he doesn't get that Usyk fight, it's going to be rough on him. Because where is he going at this point?
It's just to keep him busy while he waits for the Usyk fight. I mean, if that gets rearranged or not, I don't think it will. Now, he's already had a payday with Joseph Parker taken away. He's had a payday from Usyk. He's had 2 big paydays taken away from him.
Right.
In recent fights. So, I mean, obviously last time he fought David Price, but that's what he was expected to do.
What kind of money would he make in Bellator, though?
Not a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's
$100 grand or something.
It's good fighters, but it's not UFC money. Not that UFC money's that much.
But Bellator is a poor man's mixed martial arts, isn't it? It's inferior in every department.
I'm losing you a little bit, Nathan, by the way.
Sorry?
Oh, there you are. I got you, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tweaking on the line. I don't know what that's from, but let's change to Mike Tyson now about this Veterans Boxing League. Did you read that?
I did, yeah.
I read that.
Oh my God, that was funny, wasn't it?
I think it goes back to that one clip of him throwing mitts. People just can't stop talking about him, right?
I think 6 rounds is too long for anybody that age, I mean, you could conceivably be competitive at 45 or so, but, 4 rounds is enough.
3 will be fine,
I mean, I wouldn't want to see Mike longer than 4 rounds. It's crazy.
To go back to what I was saying before, in 2002, we only had 3 rounds in it, for God's sake.
Danny.
1987, you only had me. What round did Holyfield in? When he realized, okay, this thing's over.
About round 6, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah. So, well, I mean,
no. That was in the second round. That was over.
it was early, right?
Yeah, the second round he bit him. But you know what? I got to tell you, in that fight with Mike and Evander, look, Evander's a dirty fighter.
Dirty. Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Dirty. He throws elbows and he butts. He is a dirty. And he butted Mike the first fight. He almost knocked him out with the butt, and he opened his
So
eye.
I'm not crazy when I say that, right? Okay, just making sure.
No, I mean, come on. You just watch the fight.
Yeah, really.
When he fought Hasim Rockman, he opened up his head with an intentional butt.
Yep.
It was intentional. So when he did that to Mike, Mike lost it. That was it. He just, and Mike was winning that round.
Was he?
You know?
Yeah. I
Yeah, go back and watch the fight. He was winning.
I remember I didn't have the Lennox fight. And I remember early on, you saw him, like, once he got 6-7 minutes of fighting in him, he was older, you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing how captivating that guy still is to this day. We're talking about Mike Tyson fight, for God's sake, in 2020.
I wish he wouldn't have done that. I think he was looking better in the second fight until they stopped it for that reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you going to do? But
I knew I saw that.
This whole league is ridiculous.
this veteran boxing league. What do you think of this veteran boxing league?
I think it's ridiculous. I just think they should shelve it. Have a couple of exhibitions. Don't have a boxing. Just have a couple of exhibitions. You know, once a year or something.
I agree.
I just think this is just pushing it too far. It's greed. It's greed of the promoters,
It's crazy.
and it's wrong to put people of 45 to 60 in a position they don't have to be in.
No, it's crazy. Hey, can we move on to Haney because the connection's getting bad?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
There it is. That's better.
I can hear you anyway. So.
I got you.
Okay.
So-
So here's another case of being drained, right? At 135. And so, I mean, right now he's still recovering from shoulder surgery, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And
I
no-
mean, this guy is a very talented young fighter.
don't say
As far
Adrian
as going
Broner.
up to 154, I don't think he has the frame for that.
No. Don't say he's the next Adrian Broner. For God's sake.
I think 140, yeah, good.
140, 147. What do you think of him?
Too small and he's too green. He's got no real experience.
Because I think he's an example of what I was talking about from a weight cut standpoint before. He's a young kid, grew up in this era. Like, a bad weight cut will throw him off. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he looks to be bone and muscle right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw him train with Floyd.
Hardly any body fat. Yeah, he's very good. He's very talented. I love the way he moves. But we'll see how he recovers from his shoulder surgery. Those torn rotator cuffs, I think, is what he had. Those are tough to recover from.
I don't know how you recover that. That's tough.
It's real bad, especially if you're throwing hooks.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
I would think if you're rolling punches too, you know, like, I don't know how Floyd doesn't have shoulder issues with all the punches he catches with his shoulder.
Well, he's pretty beat up. That's why he doesn't want to fight anymore. You know, he always had brittle hands. He had pins in his hands. And I mean, unless you're in the ring, like you've trained and I've trained, unless you're getting hit and you're getting injured, you have no idea what it's like.
Exactly.
It's like being an armchair quarterback. You have no conception of how to psychologically how to deal with that pain and that pressure and pain coming at you. You know, it's crazy.
My guy, Don Shaw, different people would, he worked with MMA fighters and he's cornered over 200 fights. And he would talk about these new age trainers that are coming in and they want to talk about health and being fresh. But Don's argument always was, you can't come out of an 8-week camp and be totally fresh. Something's going to nag. You're going to get hurt. You're going to tweak something. And it's just that's, on TV you don't realize that, but but when you're in it, like it's like that. It's like you.
Yeah, I agree. Hey Nathan.
Yeah, I've got one more. I think. Can you hear me?
I can't. No, I'm having a lot of trouble here on my end.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, he's a baby, man. 21 years old? Wow.
Yeah. So he needs to get back in action.
Yeah, be smart.
Right, guys.
So Nathan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I'm good. We're going to end. I'm going to end the show. Stay on the line, and I'll ring you back on the show. I'm going to end the line now. Thank you for coming on the podcast, everybody, and we'll be back in a few weeks. I'm going to ring. I'm going to ring you guys in 5 minutes again to talk about this.